future. Pretty Caroline, stone cold stunner. She was a winner, started working at the dime. Serves as a reminder to count your blessings, 'cause it's tiny fair, tiny fair. They'll put you down and leave you there, don't make them scared. Yeah, that's the ugly truth. How they coming for you. Yeah, let's go. It's the missed opportunity train. It only comes on a very blue moon. Think twice, and you missed it again. Waiting in line for the party to end. Guess you didn't get what they asked for. Not a genie in sight, that reality castle. There's no point to being careful. Learn the rules of the game before you lose your mental. Pretty Caroline.
Hey guys, before we get any further in this video, I just wanted to explain why I wanted to go all out on this workbench. Having been an avid woodworker and resin artist for the past 2 years, I really needed something that would suffer the future abuse and store some of my things. As you continue to watch, let me know what you think, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments. I will label all the tools I've used on the screen throughout the video, and firstly, do not be intimidated by any project. All you have to do is start. This workbench design did not happen overnight. I've been dreaming about this thing for months, trying to figure out everything I needed before I started. I knew I wanted the black melamine surface, I knew I wanted torsion boxes, and I knew I was going to take my time and make everything flush and square before settling for anything less. I used pocket holes for everything that was simple, but I used regular screws on the frame for structural reasons. I really want to say thank you to my wife for always being there to help me lift all the material on, especially these bigger sheets where I need just that extra hand so I don't break anything. Remember when I said these were my first drawers that I have ever installed successfully? Yeah, they are, but this frame was so precise and accurate that it took a lot of finagling to get inside. Now I knew I needed it to be perfect in order to fit on those lower rails since I wasn't using a bottom piece, but eventually I got it in there. After finally getting that frame in there, I knew I needed to move along to the drawers. The drawers I chose to use 1/2-inch plywood just to minimize the weight but maximize the strength. Using pocket holes on the 1/2-inch setting, I glued my joints, screwed them together using the parallel clamps, and moved on to the base of the drawers. In the realm of keeping it easy, I had this 1/8-inch plywood that was just laying in the shop, and all I did was trace the bottom of the box, rip it down, and nail it to the bottom. Taking my router here with just a simple 45-degree chamfer bit, I just rounded all the edges in order to push them in so I don't see them and I don't feel them. Installing the drawers was my next challenge. I placed a piece of plywood on the bottom of the rails that would later be removed. So it was plywood, rails, remove the plywood, and then I just attached the slides to the drawer themselves and installed the drawer. Luckily, I had a little bit of issues in the beginning, but after a little finagling, they went in and they came out.
I'm sorry, doesn't matter anyway. We've been here one time too many. Wonder what will happen next. We both know that this ship's going down. Let's get off and leave before we drown. There's nothing left for us to say, 'cause we'll see through. There's nothing left for us to say, 'cause we'll see through. 'Cause we'll see through.
Just wrapping up the rear of this workbench with some OSB, I chose to brad nail it in the event that I wanted to move it later. I had to order the black melamine surface from Lowe's. It came in this 4x8 sheet, and all I had to do was cut it to size and attach it to the MDF. In order to attach it to that MDF, I used contact cement. After researching it for hours, that was the best approach that I could find.
That we'd always find a way. When all was said and dust had settled, something didn't feel the same. We both know that this ship's going down.
Just want to point out that contact cement was the best option. I just put some 2x4s or some scrap lumber underneath after the cement was applied, and you can see here it touched just a little bit, and unfortunately I had to just roll with it. So we slowly worked our way towards the end, removing piece by piece by piece, and eventually we had our own black melamine.
There's nothing left for us to say.
After setting the black melamine on top, thank you to my wonderful wife, I moved on to the drawer faces. All I wanted to do is apply a slight chamfer on the edges, just so they didn't look so blocky. When I started this woodworking journey, all I had was a handful of basic tools: a circular saw, a drill, an impact driver, and a router. Nothing special really was in my inventory, and as I grew, so did my tools. Luckily, I learned how to use them all, and now I use them all pretty much daily. In building this workbench, I wanted the color scheme to match my already existing pack-out system, just to keep it uniform and to put some color to the wood. I didn't want just a basic workbench that I'd see every day. I wanted to make something unique to my shop. This is where I found those drawer faces to be a little bit more complicated than everyone says they are. I knew they had to have a gap in between. I wanted them to be flush on the edge. And at some point I just said I have to screw them in and see how they look. Lo and behold, I did, and they turned out pretty good.